Hello everyone, this is Sushant Gaonkar, iconic career mentor, recipient of India's Top Career Council Award, and Amazon #1 best-selling author of the book Iconic Career. I welcome you to my new show called Iconic Career Stories Show. This is a video podcast series where I invite career professionals who have built successful, fulfilling, and meaningful careers. In other words, professionals who have built an iconic career. This is the first episode of the Iconic Career Stories show, and my first guest is Mr. Ankit Saran. Ankit Saran is a partner at Deloitte India. As you all know, Deloitte is one of the largest professional services firm in the world, and if I'm not wrong, it is the largest. Becoming a partner in a professional services consulting firm like Deloitte is like reaching the pinnacle of your career. And Ankit has been able to achieve it at a very young age. So without further ado, let me take this opportunity and privilege to invite Ankit Saran.
Thanks, Sushant. Thank you.
Ankit, first of all, it's an honor and privilege to have you here and learn from you, learn from your experience.
Yeah, thanks, Sushant. I mean, I'm really happy to be on the show and with you today after so many years together. But yeah, very happy to share my experiences. And thanks for all the introduction about me.
Wonderful. Okay, so the way this this episode will be structured is we'll have a Q&A session for about 20-25 minutes, where I'll be probing deeper into Ankit, understand his story, understand his struggles, understand his turning moments, and what led him to becoming a partner in a global consulting firm. I'll also probe Ankit and see if he is hiring professionals and what kind of talent he's looking for. So I encourage you to stay till the end. There will also be a rapid fire question to bring in a fun moment where you learn more about Ankit. And we will conclude in about 30-35 minutes from now. So I encourage each one of you to watch this show till the end to take maximum benefit from it. All right, so now it's time to dig deeper into Ankit's story. So Ankit, the first question for you is to tell us about your career journey. What were some of the high and low moments, and what led you to becoming a partner in a global consulting firm like Deloitte?
So let me introduce myself briefly. So I've been consulting for the last 21 years and with Deloitte for over 15 years now. And it's been a fantastic ride with all its ups and downs, like in anyone's careers, as it is supposed to be, in my mind, right? And I will give you a few nuggets. This is a very interesting question, Sushant. Like I always say, these things can take hours to discuss over many cups of coffee or tea, and everyone's journey is unique. I do believe that everyone's journey is unique, and how people capitalize on the opportunities what are in front of them, that is what one needs to learn from discussing and talking to everyone, right? So in my career, my first after I finished my engineering from REC Surathkal, now it's called NITK Surathkal, which was a fantastic experience. I would say my career journey started there. After my 12th, when I went to my engineering college, I really had no idea what I was getting into other than becoming an engineer. And it was probably the three-idiot moment, right? That everyone had to be an engineer or doctor in those days. And I actually got into an NDA, and my dad was in the Air Force, and my dad actually told me that, you know what, if you want a career where you want to take ownership and drive fast, you might be better off in corporate world. And we don't have a lot of engineers in my house. We have a lot of doctors. So if you're getting a chance to get in engineering, you should. And luckily, I went to REC Surathkal. And those 4 years, I did learn. I mean, we had brilliant professors, absolutely brilliant. It was those 4 years. The one thing which I learned was how to perform under pressure, how to make friends and have fun at the same time. And trust me, it wasn't easy to pass through those 4 years academically and even personally, because you were in a situation where you were with a group of 400 students from across the country, culturally different background. Mm-hmm. So the culmination of diversity and inclusion of thoughts in my mind started right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was very small nuggets which were taught in college, which I think have gone a long way in my career. So some of the relationship building skills, not only see academically, everybody was excellent. Being an REC, being Suratkal, people toppers from all over the country had come there. They have culminated together. But how do you collaborate together with sharp minds, right? It's pretty much a shark tank, right? You have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
sharks, but you cannot go after eating each other, right? I mean, you have to start thinking about how do you win things together. So, and it is academics, it is cultural events, it is organizing events, it is organizing hackathons. I mean, it was an amazing 4 years of my journey. Post which, my next 3 years were with startup in those days. It was a .com startup called Seranova that got a very interesting journey. So my 3 years was marked with three acquisitions. It was an era of acquisitions from 2000 to 2003 with .com bust, 9 by 11, etc. Right. So my firm, which I joined, which was a .com startup, grew from 400 to 2,000 people,
Wow.
and within a year and a half, and then the recession hit. It came back to 400 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So going through that experience was amazing. I luckily I was still part of the 400 people within that organization, and I learned a lot of things even that time. Why did I stick around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the three acquisitions also taught me a lot of things of how different firms think, right? My .com, so my company Seranova was acquired by Silverline. Silverline got acquired by Cognizant. So within 3 years, I'd seen a lot in my life right after college, which I had no idea what was coming my way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Post which I went to the US, did my MBA. And again, that was a passion which I always had, that I had to do an MBA, because I always thought, I'm a good technologist. 3 years, one thing I mastered was technology, and not with the intent to code only, but it was all, I mean, I was a strong, I used to call myself a Java monkey those days,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Java was the in thing, I mean, those days. And after, luckily, I had good mentors who taught me, what, it's important to understand architectures. It's important to understand what a blue book is, etc. But everything was very technically oriented, and it struck my passion to a certain extent. It did not strike my passion in terms of what business problems we are trying to solve for, right? I knew we were building systems for different financial services firms, but why? What is driving it?
Mm-hmm.
That I could not get an answer to. And that's when I decided to get my MBA. I went to the US, I did my MBA there, and post which I did, again, when you do an MBA, you have two choices. Either you can hyperscale your existing career, or you can pivot your career,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I had gone there with the intent to pivot my career.
Yeah, and just sorry to interrupt. For the sake of audience, when you say hyperscale, you mean like moving to the next level faster, right? That's what you mean, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So how do you get to a podium, right? I mean, I'm not talking about levels in the firm, but to a role where you actually are able to make a difference in the business using technology,
Right.
or technology is leading a change in the way the business is being done. So that is where I wanted to get to. Now, I had gone there with the intent to pivot, to get into maybe, investment banking, financial services, something else, right? Or marketing. And I did get into those. I finished my MBA and with a major in finance and marketing, because technology is something which I was pretty comfortable with. Post which I did get some offers in that area, but I also started getting offers where I could hyperscale my career within consulting with a technology mindset, driving a business, right? Which is what I wanted to do, right? After a couple of startups and in IoT of those days, right? Deloitte happened to me. I happened to Deloitte, and the love story has been continuing for 15 years.
Wow.
Now, the Deloitte story has been very interesting as well. I have moved 5 or 6 offices in Deloitte. Started in Pittsburgh, moved to Sacramento, San Francisco, and I was hoping that I'll make a trip to Hawaii. I was moving west, but you know what? I just skipped Hawaii and moved to India. I moved to Mumbai and then Bangalore. It's been a fantastic journey across industries, technologies, and in terms of what made me stick around in Deloitte, I think there are many. I mean, it's very difficult to count, but I would say that what I found was uh, the like-minded people around, right? I mean, the passion to grow people, the passion to grow our clients, the passion to make a difference not only into our clients' work and the business they're into, but also difference in all the practitioners we work with.
Right.
That's something which I found a tribe. Right? I found a tribe within Deloitte, which meant a lot of, which had similar kind of, what do I say, goals in life, right? And that
so
is what
like-minded community, your tribe,
absolutely,
you found.
absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Now, having said that, 15 years has been a fantastic journey. There are ups and downs. I can talk about it, but
I'll definitely come to that.
yeah. But I will say that I think it's extremely important to know what your passion is. Number one, right? It takes few years to get there. You might think what your passion is based on what industry is saying, but over few years, you will realize what your passion is when you start working on something and it just strikes your passion. You feel happy about it, right?
Right.
So for example, if you feel sad, okay, I didn't get this done, but next day you're again into the game and just running with it. That means there's something driving you beyond the call of what the industry or technology is, right?
Wonderful.
So one is passion, and then finding that cohort of people whom you want to work with to make a difference. Right?
Yeah.
So I would stop here, Sushant. I know.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think this is thanks. I mean, it's been a very interesting journey, career journey that you've had, and I was taking notes as you were speaking. So I would say like I would divide your career journey into two parts: the early career and the mid career. So that it's easier for my audience to understand. So the early career would be the first 10 years, and then the mid career would be from the 11th year onwards. And what I see is your early career journey after your graduation has been a lot of experimentation. And as you said, you started working in startups, then you did your MBA, then again you were exposed to small companies and startups, and then finally Deloitte happened. So there was a lot of experimentation during this course. And what you're saying is that what I take away from your career journey is that passion cannot be found through thinking. Passion can only be found by taking action. So you experimented, you worked, and you figured it out ultimately what was your sweet spot, and that brought you to Deloitte. And along with the sweet spot, what you're saying is, if you find the group of like-minded people, like the cohort that you're talking about, like-minded people who can support you, who can help you grow, that's all you need. Your passion with the right kind of support will help you elevate your career. Okay, that's how I read it actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I think just to add to that, right? One needs to look at to find an apprenticeship culture, right? Who will tell you the way things are on your face? It should not be sugar-coated, right? That cohort should trust you to tell you what you're doing well and what you need to do differently. They should feel comfortable calling you on a weekend. Hey, I have an idea. Hey, Ankit, you know what? Maybe we are doing well, but this is not I think we're heading towards a dead end. We need to take a different turn, right? Or why don't we start thinking about growing our business in certain different areas, right? Maybe the market is saying this, but this is something we should invest in, right?
Right.
So
absolutely,
having that comfort in sharing and discussing, that's the cohort we're talking about. Otherwise, you're always researching by yourself, you're thinking by yourself, and you don't have a sounding board to really test the waters where you're going.
Very good point. People, so as you know, I've also worked in the corporate world prior to getting into professional coaching and mentoring. And what I've seen is that if you're able to find a mentor or a champion, so to say, who can support you, who can guide you, who can mentor you, then you have a sounding board, and your growth in the company or outside will be much faster than you doing it all by yourself. So that's absolutely true what you said. Now tell me one thing. You said you found the right cohort of people at Deloitte. Was it by chance, or were you seeking such kind of a cohort actually?
I was seeking. I did my experimentation at Deloitte as well. So Deloitte to me is a fantastic startup atmosphere, right? So I would say that so okay, within Deloitte also there have been times where I have put in my heart and soul into it, and I have realized there's no end of the tunnel, right? You need to switch quickly. You need to realize that if this network you're working with is actually realizing the value you bring to the table or not. If it's not, there are enough out there, but you need to seek, right? They will see. I know they're also seeking for you, but you will not show in front of them because everyone's busy.
Absolutely.
And it's not that they don't want to seek you. They want to seek you, but you have to make an effort to start seeking. Wonderful. So it was a combination of seeking and then hitting the jackpot at the same time. I did my fair amount of experimentation within Deloitte. I mean, I did not start in data analytics to begin with. I was part of a group called Systems Integration or Technology Integration back in the days. And I started working with public sector, driving a lot of changes in the department of motor vehicles because of my IoT startup kind of background and etc. Then I got into a different network where I was trying to change the lives of citizens, especially when it comes to unemployment, right? How do you automate unemployment claims? How do you make it more efficient? How do you prevent fraud, right? I extended that to genetic disease screening programs. But I realized one thing, that public sector is fantastic. They give you long-term deals. I sold many multi-million deals there, right? They have a long lead time, etc. But there was something in myself, which was, it was slightly slow for the person who I am. I need to get into a much faster pace. So that's when I moved to commercial. I moved to the West Coast in the Bay Area, right? I was based in San Francisco. Started working with a lot of TMT clients. Now, that was a kicker in my career. I mean, in terms of, we were in front of clients every day, right? We were delivering transformational leading edge projects. It got a kick into me. And working with that group of people, most of my clients were also type A personalities or A plus personalities. So, hey, my work day is over. Let's start. My consulting life starts at 8 in the evening, 6 in the evening, right? And when you work with such kind of clients who have a drive, right, to do something different, it absolutely motivates you, right? I mean, you are trying to bring in the best to make them successful, and you're bringing the best of the firm. The other thing about Deloitte is it's a fantastically well knitted network. Right. If I want to get to someone, any capability in this firm is 2 or 3 phone calls away.
Sure,
right?
Wonderful. Yeah.
So those are very important elements.
So what you're saying is you have to seek first, right? Don't expect things to happen to you. Things will definitely happen to you sooner or later, but you have to take that first baby step. That you have to go and talk to people, connect with them, build your network. Then slowly things will start happening to you. Am I right? Am I right in saying that?
Yes, Sushant. And I think you should also start seeking where the industry is going, where the demand is going, where your career is going. For example, I have reinvented my career within Deloitte many times. Public sector, within TMT, I moved to FSI, then I did a lot of life sciences, pharma work. Now I work with CNIP, life sciences, TMT, many clients, right? And I've changed my networks as well, because my passion towards solving different problems changed over a period of time. So, and it's always been through seeking, even today, right? I know you said being a partner in Deloitte is the pinnacle of success, but in my mind, I made a partner in like 5-6 years back, right? But I have 20 years of my career still left in front of me. Right. So I'm still seeking.
A lot more to do, yes.
I'm still seeking. That fire, that hunger always needs to be in you, because there's so much more to learn and do and make a difference in our world in the next 20 years, right? And the reason I'm in the India member firm today is because I'm very passionate about driving a change in the India and the ecosystem around it.
Right. Wonderful. See, now thank you for explaining, Ankit. And this is exactly what I want the audience to learn from. One of the reasons why I chose you as my first guest is because I wanted to showcase a career professional who is not just financially successful, but who enjoys what he's doing. Who finds fulfillment from his work, as well as he has built a meaningful career. Because success, fulfillment, and meaning, these three are essential. And this is what I call, if you have all three, then you have built an iconic career. And you just said, you have come back to India with this with a purpose, with a sense of purpose, where you want to make a difference, you want to drive change. So that's where you find meaning. When you start helping society around us directly or indirectly through your work, that's when you find meaning. And this is wonderful. Thank you for sharing this with me. And I'm glad the audience is also, they will benefit from this. Thank you. So Ankit, let's move on in the interest of time. Obviously, I'll be probing you more, during the course of this session. So tell me about a difficult situation or a big challenge that you faced. Just one challenge that you faced, in your career of 21 years.
So, okay, let me tell you about a challenge that most career professionals face, and I also faced it, right? When I was having my first kid. Okay. Now, many a times, these are life-changing moments, by the way, right? You in consulting, right? You're talking about working with many clients. You're selling, you're delivering, you're building a practice around you. You're making everyone trying to make everyone successful. It's trying to make your family successful, right? You're going to have your first baby. The first question which comes to your mind is, how can I sustain a lifestyle like this? Right? Where
Work-life balance.
I'm so passionate about my work. I know what's coming my way. I need to now start thinking about how do I shift some of my time towards my kid, my family. I mean, it's not that I was not spending time with my wife. I mean, both of us were equally busy, and we used to have binge trips. But with kids, you can't have binge trips, right? I mean, you have to plan things, and a lot of and these things you don't know much. You start uncovering. It's like peeling the onion once your first baby is born. So you start peeling the onion. So at that point of time, the first thought which comes to anyone's mind is, how do I do this? Right? And it wasn't easy for me. I was fortunate enough to have partners and directors whom I worked with within Deloitte, who actually gave me that space and mentorship and guidance. To an effect that, you know what, they used to kick me out of the client location at 4 p.m. every day, saying, go home. We'll talk to you at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. This is your moment, right? Spend the 4 5 hours, blank out your calendars. It doesn't matter. Life will go on. Everybody and client will understand. And being a person who I am, I was never shy of sharing my thoughts and feelings. It's an important aspect. Not everybody is comfortable. I understand that but I think there are positives and negatives as well. A lot of people fear, if I'm going to tell people about my shortcomings, it might be used against me. And there are people who use it, by the way. But at the same time, don't worry about them. You worry about yourself. The moment you express your limitations, your ecosystem, you'll be surprised how your ecosystem comes to your support, right? It is not only your bosses, it is your peers, it is your juniors. They will come to your support. They'll be so happy that you share something with them, right? So this is one moment, right, where I think it's important to have an ecosystem, to find an ecosystem which supports your work-life balance. Number two, it is not about work-life balance. It's about work-life integration. Okay. And I know when people hear this, they will, some will smile, some will say sigh, right? But it's okay. See, what I mean by work-life integration is you should segregate your work time and personal time, but do not segregate the ecosystem so much that they don't know what's happening on the other side.
Right.
Your family, your kids need to know who are the players, who's the cohort you work with, right? My kids know everyone who I work closely with. My wife knows everyone. They know their names. They feel comfortable calling them as well. So you extended your ecosystem of not only professional, trying to get to a friendly zone. So they are all aware what you're doing collectively, right? How you're trying to make a difference. I make sure that I meet the families of the ecosystem, they meet our families, etc. It has gone a very long way. It's not something now which has done outside now. It started long back. I mean, maybe 10, 15 years back when I was a manager, right? And since those days, this is something again, I did, by the way, nobody comes naturally with it. You see others doing it. I've seen other partners within Deloitte do it. And I thought there was a lot of meaning to it, right?
Yeah.
And it has helped me immensely. So this is one thing I would say, it's a difficult moment in everyone's life. Think about work-life integration, integrating the two ecosystems, keeping time aside, dedicated time for the families and professional work as well. Everybody understands, right? People will make now. And the second aspect to it is never be an information hoarder. Okay. Be a information dissipator. Try to grow as many people around you as possible. The fundamental principle which I have lived as in my firm, I've learned from my partners, and as a partner, I live by the fundamental principle is the more people I grow in their careers, the more successful I am. I want to promote as many people to get me out of my job so that I get into a more uncomfortable position and I am seeking for better and different things to do. That helps in making sure that when you want to take time off, there are other people who can seamlessly take care of what you do.
Right. That's a very good point.
So today,
mhm.
anytime, if I have an emergency, I don't have to worry. I have to call some of my gladiators, my ninjas on my team.
Right.
It's about a 5-minute conversation. Yeah, absolutely. They take care of it. Now that takes effort and time, and from both sides, right? So it's an important aspect. It's a difficult time in everyone's life, but this is how I've tried to manage it as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the challenge, the challenge that you faced, you're saying, is a typical challenge that professionals in the consulting world face because of the demanding nature of the job. So which is to strike work-life balance. And what you're saying is it's not about work-life balance. You can't really separate out these two elements so much that like you can work in silo. You need a work-life integration. And that actually that thought that I think it's wonderfully narrated by you. In fact, just I think about a year or two ago, I remember Satya Nadella from Microsoft saying that it's no longer about work-life balance, it's about work-life harmony. And that's exactly what you're saying, like work-life integration. So there has to be, see, work is your passion, right? I mean, and it's not like you can unplug your passion just like that. So you have to bring it into your life, but in such a way that it doesn't overrule it. And you're able to do that with the help of your support system. The second point that you made is also a wonderful point, because I get this question a lot as a mentor. Professionals come to me, Sushant, is it worth sharing your knowledge with others? Okay, because they fear that if they share their knowledge, okay, if they dissipate the knowledge, then somebody else will eventually take over their job. So there's that job insecurity feeling. And you said it, and my advice is the same as you said, don't hold information or knowledge, dissipate it, share it, because when you share it, like the world will know that there is somebody here who is an expert in that area. And at the same time, the advantage is that when others know, they can help you out, in times of difficulty, when you're not able to spare time for a particular activity, they can help you out, right? So that's what you're saying. Dissipation is the key here. Information dissipation. Don't hold knowledge, keep evolving. You grow bigger and bigger, but at the same time, keep sharing knowledge. Am I right in saying that?
Yep, absolutely. Share and then
great messages, Ankit. Wonderful. I mean, I think even I am learning, and I'm sure like my audience will learn as well. Wonderful. So let me ask another question. See, I'm sure the audience here will be curious how to build your career in a consulting firm so that you can reach a pinnacle position like a partner. So tell me about the biggest turning point in your life that put you on a partner path, and you became a partner at a very young age. So what was that, one or two turning points actually, or turning moments?
I think there are many actually, but let me try to slim it down to one or two. So I think the first thing is, there was a moment, I was a manager in the firm those days and trying to become a senior manager. And my ecosystem wasn't, was trying to think whether, so one principle which my seniors or mentors over the years, and by the way, I don't have one or two, I have many. I have 30-40 mentors whom I work with, whom I stay connected with, because I strongly believe that there's a lot to learn from many people. And everybody has different aspects, and you yourself have different aspects. You cannot copy someone. You have to be your own self, right? And you can look at attributes which you like about them and see how you can vibe in your journey, right? Now, so there was a moment in my career when there was a client in Seattle, and there was a workshop there, and the partner and director and everyone, somebody felt sick, somebody had a family issue, and they had no one to go there who had context, right? And I got a phone call on a Sunday night. Hey, Ankit, none of us can go. Are you comfortable going for this workshop? Absolutely. I said, yeah, why not? I mean, and these are opportunities which you can't seek for. This is like while you're seeking, people know that you're seeking, but since people know they're seeking, they'll reach out to you. But if you don't seek, they will not reach out to you, right? So they knew that I was seeking. They felt comfortable in giving me that opportunity, and I felt good, right? That they did ask me. So I went there. Monday morning, Sunday night, I like scrambled, got whatever flight I wanted, like I could get, right? Monday morning, I was there. My workshop was on Tuesday, and Wednesday. I did not know anyone in that ecosystem. other than that, I had worked with this client in a different capacity with a different team. I knew the business of the client. Okay. Now, this was a different business unit. There was email exchanges that I'll be coming there for the workshop, etc. 2 days, and 2 days, and I was back with a big contract.
Wow.
Right? It was a signed contract, and I will tell you that actually changed the table within the firm in terms of the way they perceived my abilities. Because till that time I was seeking, I was telling them, I can do it, give me an opportunity, etc. Right? And they were involving me a little bit here, a little bit there, taking me to the clients. But this was independent, right?
You closed it independently.
Yeah, there's a sense of accomplishment. There was a sense of pride. They had a sense of pride as well. And that to me was the first changing moment, not only for the firm, but for myself, the confidence which it got into me, right? Given the opportunities that you can make a change. Now, I'll tell you what worked there. 3 things. One is your own passion, right? The passion to make the client successful. Right? If you have that passion to make anyone successful, right? You'll intently listen to their values, right? What they're trying to solve for. The second is you need to know the art of collaboration. Okay. You need to understand the art of building relationship, using your strong points, using your strengths, and do not bullshit. Be real. What you don't know, you don't know. Don't be too salesy, right? You get and prepare for the content what you're going for, right? You have to be deep in whatever area and career you are in. You have to continue digging deeper into whatever areas you're passionate about. Right? Learning never stops. You have to continuously learn. When you go for such an event, you have to read, you have to learn, you have to prepare. Do not just go, hey, I know everything, I can manage it, you know what, etc. Right? Try to think of things that can come your way which you're not good at or you haven't thought about. So what I did the previous night, I gave a call. I had 2-hour call with this partner, with directors, senior managers. What has been your learnings in these workshops? How does it typically work? Right? How have you navigated? So I had a sense of idea. I took my own notes, right? So I prepared for it. But then out there, when you're on your own, you think on your feet. Okay, you bring your mojo out. Do not hesitate in getting your mojo out. You do not know how and when, because when those meetings starts, when no one knows you, everybody's looking at you, trying to judge you. By the afternoon, you have broken the ice. By the end of the day, you have completely broken the ice. Next day, listening to your ideas. First day, you listen to them. Right? That's how you work out in any scenario. That was my first turning point in my mind. And after that, I think it was no-brainer, right? The career just took off.
Yeah.
I
think what you're alluding to, though you have not used that word, is like, you have if you want to grow into a leadership role in a consulting firm, like a partner level role, you have to master the art of solution-based selling or consultative selling. That's a word that's commonly used, and that starts with showcasing your passion for the problem that you're solving, showcasing your passion in making the client successful, right? That's your point number one. And then taking a collaborative approach. It's not about a sales. You should not come across as a sales guy, but as a solution provider, right? So you're more of a collaborator. And then obviously the preparation. Okay. So the turning point, just to come back to the turning point, was this big opportunity that came your way. Okay, the partners were willing to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was one, Sushant. I think the second one, which is slightly different,
please,
and I do want to highlight that, right?
Yeah.
So this was after I came to India, right? Again, I had come to an ecosystem which I was completely not known in, right? Trust me, it took me 2 years to build that vibrancy in that ecosystem grounds up.
I see.
Right? There was, and that happens when you start engaging with every level within the firm, right? You're trying to make the analyst successful, the consultant successful, the senior consultant managers. How? By engaging them in different opportunities, be it sales, be it delivery, be it hanging out with them, etc. Within 2 years, there was so much vibrancy in the system. Now you start hearing that you are not doing with that intent, but you're doing with that intent to grow the firm and yourself.
Right.
Now the partnership then naturally happened, right? Then you start hearing when you do something with so much passion and intent, then you start hearing the feedback from the ecosystem that, dude, what you have done, what hasn't happened in for a while, right? And there's a strong bottom-up support where people want to see you in that leadership role. So that is another. So
Mm.
while the top-down view is important, the bottom-up view is extremely important. You are, after all, a human, right?
Right.
You cannot. You're not a robot. You can only do so many things in a day, and you need to have those gladiators, that ninja, that army behind you, who will help you, who are invested in making you successful, and you are invested in making them successful.
Right.
So I think these 2 points are, in my mind, were extremely important. When I started hearing the feedback back, it's working, right? Those 2 points, just I think is extremely important in anyone's career, or at least it's been formidable in my career to my partner journey in the firm.
Got it. So one is, just to summarize what you have said, one is, this wonderful opportunity that came across your way, where you got a chance to meet with the client and deal with the client and close the client independently, right? That's a big opportunity. And that changed the way the firm, the senior leadership looked at you. Second is, you're saying you put in enough time and effort to build a grassroots level support, build this army of supporters who could actually, who were aspiring to see you as a leader, right? So that also, the bottoms up approach and the top down approach, both of them, contributed to you embarking on that, fast paced path to becoming a partner. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely, and I aspire, and now I'm aspiring to see all of them as leaders as well. So
Wonderful.
it's investment goes both ways in my mind.
Wonderful, excellent. It's been a wonderful conversation so far. As I said, even I am learning, and I'm sure, like my audience, who are very aspirational, mid-career, early career, and mid-career working professionals, as well as graduates, I'm sure they will learn a lot from your experience. Okay, so I have another question now, which is again slightly different. Now, I think analytics, data science, currently they are considered as high demand, hot fields actually, right? So you have been leading, analytics and data science, data analytics. People use different words, leading these teams, these organizations in Deloitte. So can you throw some light on how you see the future of analytics, or careers in analytics, data science, and you can talk about how things are evolving at Deloitte as well. Okay.
Yeah. So okay. Whether you call it AI, data science, data analytics and cognitive, you call it information management, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Think about data. I look at data analytics into 4 or 5 major buckets of work, right? And there are, now I'm going to go from what the capabilities in data analytics, and then I'll talk about where the market is going, right? So majority of the work in data analytics from a capability perspective in the 4 or 5 buckets. One is around pure play data platform modernization, okay? Because in the world of data analytics, well, something which you implemented 5 years back is legacy now.
Absolutely.
Unlike mainframes, where you implement 40 years back and now you can transform it.
World is evolving fast.
Yeah, data warehouse, you built an Oracle platform or anything, that's all legacy. Everybody moving to cloud. And by the way, 3 years back, everybody was moving to big data, on-premise, Cloudera, Hortonworks, that's getting legacy, right? So it's a very fast-moving market. So data platform modernization is an extremely, that's the critical mass of where majority of the work is going on right now, right? And this is important because there are OPEX, there are capital expenses, there are other views in terms of how do you enable a platform which is AI enabled, right? Which is where most of the organizations want to go. We talk about AI and data science, but unless you have an extremely strong, sturdy, robust data platform, you're not getting to your AI at scale journey, right? You'll always be experimenting, right? So that's one. Number two is you need to invest in what is called a data marketplace, or data management, governance, to make sure whatever data which you have for enabling AI is clean. It does not become a lake like in Bangalore. You must have heard fires in the lake, right? So you don't want a swamp, right? You want a lake which is clean, and that fires. And when you're talking about data, like anything, it can get polluted, right? Why different reasons? Because you're talking about getting data from multiple systems, but scraping data, right? Like streaming data, etc. So you need to have a very strong mechanism, technology, governance, human intervention, etc. to make. So that's another area which will be extremely important in the coming days, right? It's been important, but it will only become more and more important. Number three, I would say, is how do you intelligently automate many things, right? So in the past, automation was, RPA, you must have heard, right? It became a
Yes,
big
absolutely.
thing in the, but okay, RPA is automating. By the way, RPA has always been around, right? You just have better tools, slicker tools, which are doing it, right? And there's a focus on automating processes which are redundant, right? Or processes which can be automated without human intervention. That's a good thing. Now, there's also an opportunity to how you use data and analytics to intelligently automate something. For example, there are contracts, right? I mean, can you scrape through the keywords which many people are going through contracts? You can use NLP, you can use NLP to generate documents, but these are areas which have been less explored, right? These are areas which are will still evolve. So intelligent automation is another area which I think is an important area in my mind, right? Fourth area would be around pure play data science, AI, ML, right? Now you're talking about uh, uh, using predictive technologies, using data from the past. We're also talking about modeling using neural networks around voice, speech, text, etc., right?
Right.
Images, etc. So these areas are still evolving. By the way, many industries have been using models for a very long time. It's just not been at scale, right? Now is the time to take the thinking, right, and bring it to scale. Now that requires a very strong data platform, data governance, automation possibilities to do anything at scale. Otherwise, what will happen is your model efficiencies will not get you to 70, 80, 90, 100% efficiencies. You'll be at 50, 60. Well, I don't know, maybe it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So you need to get there. So in all, these are all the areas which will evolve. Now, many a times you may not know what you want to do in the world of data science and AI ML. So having an op model which is more of an which operates in an agile fashion may not be a bad idea as you're moving from AI experimentation to AI at scale, right? Now, these are the four areas. Now, what is the future of AI? AI is the future. Okay, I would just leave it there. There is no way that you will not be wanting to use automation, intelligent automation, foresight to make decisions within every part of your ecosystem. See, one of the background, I don't think you can read it. It says embedding AI in our ecosystems. It is not about embedding AI in our clients, in our businesses. It is everywhere in ecosystem where you live, where you go to school, where you go to offices, whether you go to interact at any bank. Think about an ecosystem, right? A smart city is an ecosystem.
Right.
IoT, what you talk about, it's one part of AI, right? You need installing sensors and has been there forever, right? You can get the data, but how do you make sense of data and make intelligent decisions, which gives you insight, right? That's the exciting part. What would have taken you like a month to do some analysis using a supercomputer, can you take nuggets and make decisions faster? Is the promise of AI. So AI is gonna be there. We are just scratching the surface at most places. If there are articles which they say, you know what, we have done this, we have done that. Absolutely, there are good use cases, there are point use cases, right? But is AI at scale today? No. Whether it will get at scale, yes, right? We will have to go through a journey. It will evolve. So, but it cannot be just, I need to learn the regression models. You're not solving any problem there. You need to understand the entire ecosystem of how do you make any AI ecosystem successful and understand the ecosystem which you're trying to make successful. So it's a journey. It's a long way, a lot of opportunity. And I think especially in the emerging worlds, right, where there have been less investments, unlike the developed countries like India, like the region, there is immense there's less technical debt, right? In the developed countries, they've already gone this path once. So there is
So there is a legacy. There is a legacy that's easy.
Which needs to be retired.
Right.
Which needs to be retired.
which is a big challenge. Absolutely.
Right? So I think there's an opportunity in the region, and both globally, right? I'm not saying there's an opportunity globally in the developed nations as well. They have a longer way. They have much bigger challenges to solve for. Whereas people who haven't gone the journey, they're lucky. They can experiment more to go on that.
Wonderful. Well, Ankit, again, thank you for throwing light on what are the areas that we should focus on when it comes to data analytics, data science, AI, machine learning. So these are all offshoots of, I would say, one buzzword, that is data analytics, right? So it starts, just to summarize what you said, you have to start with a robust platform to host and store data where the warehouses come in. Second is you need to have a mechanism, a governance mechanism to ensure data integrity, actually, so that like what data you analyze the right kind of data, the context has to be right. The third is the area of intelligent automation. So automation, has to, RPA, robotic process automation, is the I would say that's how automation started. But now you have to get into understanding, bringing in NLP and other cutting edge technologies to understand data that is not structured. Right, so that's where the intelligent automation comes into the picture. The fourth area is obviously the modeling part, where you have data science, machine learning, but you have to build it at scale. What is missing right now is people are executing probably ad hoc projects; they're not able to scale it. So that's an area of opportunity. And the fifth is, you said AI is the future, right? So you have to bring AI into the ecosystem, and that is the initiative that you are heading, right, in Deloitte. So it's your title, the division is not clearly visible, but you said embedded AI ecosystem, right? Is that what your new initiative?
The division doesn't matter; it will keep changing every year or 2 years based on where the market, what the market seems to call. It says embedding AI in our ecosystems.
Embedding AI in our ecosystem. Thank you for clarifying.
That's the motto which I am passionate about, and I think we can drive change into many of the way we live, the way we operate, and the way we do businesses. It's going to change sooner or later, right? I mean, we are going to get there. The one thing I would like to say, right, while all these slick words, right, and slick technologies are out there, the fundamentals around data needs to be strong. I mean, and this is a message to everybody who's listening, especially from a graduate, undergraduate. Over the years, you realize your fundamentals have to be strong from all across the spectrum of data technologies. Right? You cannot just be good at modeling without understanding. No model is good without having a clean data. Right? Most of the data science guys, they need to cleanse the data. Right? Get a good data set to even run their models. Otherwise, there'll be so much noise in this thing. Right. So your fundamentals about SQL, data, modeling, right? Your data pipeline, data engineering, these are all aspects you need to touch in your career. Without which you will not be able to command the respect from the ecosystem which I'm talking about over the years. You will just be deep in a certain area, which is good. But if that area changes, then you will change at a much later stage.
Right. So the entire, what you're saying is, this is a message particularly to graduates and also early career professionals who want to build a career in data science. You have to be familiar with the entire value chain of data, right? From collection, storage to analysis, interpretation, and also understand the business context, right? So that's what you're saying. The entire value chain you need to be familiar. Yeah, wonderful. Ankit, so I think it's been a wonderful Q&A session here. I'm learning so much from your experience. I'm sure audience will benefit a lot as well. So I have one last question, and then we'll move into the rapid fire round.
Sure.
So I understand that Deloitte is hiring. Deloitte is growing fast, and I'm sure your organization is growing fast and hiring as well. Can you share what are some of the skill sets that you're looking for? What kind of talent you're looking for, so that it will benefit my audience here.
Oh, absolutely right. I mean, so don't ever feel shy in applying Deloitte. I will tell you my experience as well. When I applied for Deloitte, I think I applied for 3 or 4 months on different roles, and one fine day I got a call. So none of Deloitte roles on LinkedIn or Deloitte sites are actually black boxes. They're actually looked into. It's just that our processes are pretty what do you say, stringent and process oriented, and it takes time to get there. There are multiple levels. I had actually 8 interviews, 8 levels, right, before I came in, right? And that was a downturn when I got into Deloitte, right? So I think I don't think it's the same these days. But do not get disappointed if you don't get a call after applying to one. Continue applying. There are enough on LinkedIn as well as our Deloitte Careers website. I would say that from broadly, we are growing across different functions within Deloitte, be it our SAP business, be it our Oracle business, be it our data analytics business, our digital business, Salesforce business, ServiceNow, it doesn't matter, right? You can go and seek, and if you're good at any of these areas, please feel free to apply on our career site or LinkedIn, etc. Now, specifically in data analytics, which is the ecosystem which I'm pretty involved in these days, right? So I would say large-scale data platform modernization technologies around Azure, data engineering, Azure, AWS, Snowflake, GCP, looking for data engineers, senior data engineers, data architects, right? So anybody who has good experience in any of these technologies on ADF, etc., AWS, so do reach out on our career website or reach out to anyone on LinkedIn. I think they will redirect you to the right place, right? Do not feel shy on reaching out. I know people are busy. Some people will respond, some people will not. But the intent is not to respond. Intent is people just get busy, right? Some people might respond late, right? But you have to seek. The second area I would say is in AI and data science. We are hiring a lot of data scientists, senior data scientists, etc. So anybody who's got good experience in any industry, right, do bring it out, right?
Wonderful.
IoT, again, C3, IoT, any of those no-code platforms we are interested in, please do reach out. Digital platforms using full stack developers, right? That's an area which is evolving, and we are absolutely looking to hire in that area. Data governance, data quality, data marketplace, the Collabras of the world, MDMs of the world, absolutely fair game to reach out. I think these are all areas which are hyperscaling. We are hiring. We have enough soul demand. We are not, and this is a hot marketplace. So, but if you are, see, more importantly than applying and reaching out, you should, one thing I would say, show the passion and why you want to join Deloitte. And if you don't know that, you should ask the person you are speaking to, right? And even my experience going to Deloitte was a lot of follow-ups, a lot of questioning. One thing I realized, I used to ask a lot of questions to understand the firm. You should do that as well, because you should look at any change to a firm as a career path destination. You should begin that way. And if you start with that mindset, then you will ask all the right questions and be passionate about it. Deloitte is a great place. I think it's a fantastic startup ecosystem. I would say it's a huge organization, but it is very nimble, and it is you can grow in different places. You can change your networks. You can change what you do over the years. You can stay keeping the same thing. It depends on you how you carry it. I have made a lot of friends in Deloitte. Deloitte to me is an addiction, right? And it's an addiction to the people I work with. It is the ecosystem I work with, and it's the mindset. I work with the best minds in different industries, different technologies, and when you work with the best, even though you don't want it, the best seeps into you. So that to me is it's to me Deloitte is a great place where I look forward to every Monday actually to see what difference we can make in an ecosystem. So I think it's a great place to work.
Wonderful.
Feel free to apply in whatever areas you're good at, and even though I may not have mentioned, do reach out on websites. You never know, there might be something which we are looking for which might strike your passion.
Wonderful. I think what you're saying is you're hiring across different kinds of services, right? From data engineering to data science to full stack developers. So it's like a lot of opportunities available. So your message to the audience is go to the website, go to LinkedIn, check out what positions are open, start connecting with the right kind of people. And I encourage my audience to follow Ankit on LinkedIn as well. Ankit Saran, you should be able to look up for his name, connect with him, and follow him. So, like connect with the right kind of people. There are a lot of opportunities, and one important message from Ankit is don't be disappointed if you get a rejection, initially, okay? Because there are so many different opportunities. There may be a better fit in another organization, another type of profile. So keep applying and keep looking out for, opportunities with Deloitte. So wonderful, Ankit. Thank you very much. So that brings us to the end of our Q&A session. And it's been a wonderful learning experience. Ankit, thank you for opening your heart. Thank you for sharing some deep insights about how you should go about building your career, and more specifically, how you can build your career in a consulting firm from Deloitte, from the ground up, like all the way to the top. That's a wonderful message and insight for the audience here, as well as for me, actually. So Ankit, now it's time to move over to the next round, which is a quick rapid fire round. The objective of this round is to get to know you more, okay, at a more personal level. So until now, the discussion was more professional. So we know everything about, not everything, we know a lot about your experience, your professional background, and how you build your career. So now it's more about, getting to know you more personally. So are you ready, my friend, for the rapid fire round?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the first question is, and as it is rapid fire, you not have too much time to think. So whatever comes, off the top of your mind, you have to say it. So first question is, describe yourself in 3 words.
Adventure, fun, and amazing.
Excellent. If you could be any animal, which animal would that be?
The lion.
The lion, the king of the forest. What is your favorite hobby or interest?
Well, it keeps changing. These days, I'm into photography and cycling.
Photography and cycling, wonderful. So you're able to find time for that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is something which I've developed in the last 2 years, actually. In fact, including Corona times. So I absolutely am able to find time for it.
Wonderful.
So when you have passions for something, you will. Time is only a number. Yeah? Like I think people are able to adjust their schedules. It's all about where you want to give in and what you want to adjust, right? I mean,
yeah.
Also, like I said, make sure your ecosystem understands what you're really. The ecosystem is your family as well.
Yes, absolutely. What is your favorite book?
My favorite book. Actually, I like Doctors. I mean, it's a pretty good book. Early part of my career. College. I read that book. I think it was a fantastic read.
Wonderful. What one new technology? Which one new technology? Just one will transform the future. Only one.
I mean, I would say AI and ML, right? I mean, this has to transform the future. Nothing else.
Yeah. Okay, so I think one last question. What do you like most about your work?
It's the people I work with, right? I mean, I think that to me is it's like a family. I think that's very important.
Wonderful. So thank you, Ankit. I think we got to know you a little more at a personal level. So you do have other interests. You're not, the workaholic types. You do pursue other interests, and I think you've been able to strike balance with your interests, with your family, with your work. That's amazing. I mean, that's definitely inspirational for many of us. Because that is one area where most professionals struggle, is to strike this balance of work life and, more importantly, integration. Like what you say, work life integration. So it's been a wonderful.
I will tell you. I'll tell you one Sushant, right? Not every part of your career will give you the enough work and life the way you want it. So you have to pace your interests on the personal side and the professional side in different parts of your career. And it's been the same for me. I've had this discussion in my house also. You work a lot, why don't you spend some time at home, right? In spite of finding all that. So you need to pivot at those points, listen at that point, and do things differently, right? And there are different ways. Like, for example, like I said, sometimes you take a break, you take off during the daytime and spend time where it's required, right? Instead of saying, I'm going to work till 8 to 5 or 9 to 9, and then I'm going to spend time with the family. That may not work with the family because they may not perceive that's enough help. So, especially in today's world, everybody understands the need be communicative to your teams and ecosystem, and find different times in the day, during the weekend, etc., to find the time for your family and work, so that you're trying to keeping the ecosystem alive. I think it's extremely important for you, for you to be happy. I mean, if you're happy, you'll do very well in your career.
Absolutely. They're all connected. Our personal life, professional life, they're all connected to each other. You cannot like work in, treat them in silos, actually. Absolutely. So, Ankit, just to summarize everything that we've discussed today over the last, an hour or so, I would like you to share some career advice to the people who are watching. Okay, the people who are watching are working professionals from early career, mid career, as well as graduates who are looking to build their career. So, what would be your career advice, actually?
Okay, so I have been advising throughout the last hour, but I will try to summarize it.
Yes, I would like you to summarize it. Yes.
Okay, so different parts of the career, you have different goals to seek for. The first 10 years, like Sushant said, is extremely important. Where you actually, one thing I would say before I start advising, you should read Sushant's book here. It's actually encompasses a lot of good ideas and frameworks to use. I have read it, and I haven't found a book which actually helps you with different strategies you could use. So it helps you formulate your thoughts, and it also pushes you to take action. So it's an important theme there. So have a read. So now beyond that, right? So first 10 years, I think, of your career, when you're coming up from your grad schools, undergrad schools, etc., right? Take on whatever you get with passion. Sometimes you might get what you like, sometimes you don't get what you like, right? It doesn't matter. Whatever you get, take on with passion, right? Give it your 100%. Now try to evolve in that area, or to continue to find the area you want, right? Don't get stuck to what you're doing. Try to expand your horizon, why we are doing it. Always ask the question, what is the business value? What are the adjacencies around it, right? And also start digging deeper. What are the opportunities for growth, right? Where do you, if you go in this direction, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10, 15, 20? Start having this intriguing conversation with yourself. In my mind, that's number one. Number two is, be ready for change, right? Things will change. Sometimes you plan for something very rigorously, but things change, ecosystem changes, firms change, doesn't matter, right? You have to be positive, make the best of it. A positive attitude extremely important in your career and personal lives, right? And if there are no problems in your career, there's a problem. You cannot be that successful in your career early, right? I mean, if you get that success very quickly in your career, you don't know how to handle a downturn or a bad situation. It's important for you to fall and run again, right? You have to fall a couple of times so that you learn the lessons. Now, this will happen throughout your career. You run, you get up again you run, something happens, you fall again, you get up and run. It's okay. It's okay. You evolve. You become a better person. You are evolving in the corporate world. You're evolving in your personal life, right? These are all lessons learned, right? Strive for making a difference in the ecosystem and society you live in. Strive to work with an employer who's invested in growing you as a person overall, so that wherever you go, you leave a mark behind, right? These are important aspects as you charter your career journey. Last but not the least, right? Whatever you do, be extremely good at it. Don't just focus on narrative. A lot of people lose sight in their careers by focusing on the narrative as opposed to the content. You have to have a good blend of both, right? Narrative should be 20% of it, 80% of its content. Okay.
Absolutely.
So extremely important. As long as you have that on your side and you have the attitude to be successful wherever you are deep in content, nothing can touch you. Right. You will always evolve again and again, and you will be happy, right? Focus on building people around you. Focus on building an ecosystem around you where you want to live and thrive, right? It's extremely, extremely, extremely important. One thing which we talked earlier about, share, right? And try to see how you can grow people around you so that they can do what you're doing right now, and you can find different things to do, right? But there are two things. One, you're growing an ecosystem who will make you successful. Two, you are pushing yourself to an uncomfortable position where you know that you'll have to build again, right?
Wonderful.
These are important aspects. If you have these two things, you will never fail till you're 100 or over. Okay,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, right? So that would be
Wonderful.
a couple of nuggets I
I
would
think
give.
that's you've summarized it very well, and thank you for your time. Before we wrap up, I would like to share my observations, from this interview with the audience. So, to build an iconic career, I always say that there are 5 building blocks: career clarity, skills, career plan, personal brand, and mindset. So these are the 5 building blocks. And this is what I've observed. I know, as I said, I was taking notes when Ankit was speaking, and I know a lot about his experience, his career journey, because of our past relationships. So when it comes to clarity, so what Ankit, if you look at Ankit's journey, clarity doesn't come overnight. Okay, clarity does not come just by thinking. Clarity comes by thinking as well as experimenting with different career path, different roles, different work content, till you find your sweet spot, till you find that zone where like the content, the work content aligns with your interests as well as your strengths. So that's one thing we learned from Ankit's journey. So it took him some time. Okay, it took it some time to get there, but he finally found his sweet spot in Deloitte. The second is skills. So Ankit has been emphasizing on skills from the get-go. So it is only through skills that you become competent, you become an expert. So what Ankit is saying is you have to acquire multiple skill sets, a broad array of skill sets, but you have to go deep in content. You cannot be you cannot be grazing the surface and just be just be a broad leader. You have to be specific in but you have to have expertise in particular area. For example, Ankit has built expertise in data engineering, data analytics, and now he's getting into AI. So that's the expertise he has built in the firm, along with developing leadership skills, strong networking skills, and other soft skills, communication, etc. So that's number 2. Number 3 is career plan. So this is where you have a vision for your career. Unless you have a vision, unless you know where you want to be 3 years or 5 years from now, you're not going to be motivated. You're not going to be supercharged. And if you observe Ankit's journey, every 2 to 3 years, he challenges himself. Okay, he comes out of there's no comfort zone for Ankit. Even though he's a partner now, he's aiming for the next level, right? So every 2 to 3 years, he challenges himself. He thinks about how to get to the next level, what he needs to do to come out of his comfort zone, what he needs to do to get there. So that's number 3, a plan, a career plan with a vision, mission, and goals. Number 4 is personal brand. So this is one area that most professionals ignore. Personal branding means making yourself a visible expert, known to the world. And this is where, again, Ankit emphasizes on the importance of expressing yourself, sharing knowledge, become known to the world. Don't hoard knowledge. 90% of professionals in the world are, out of every 100 experts, 90% are invisible experts. They are not known to the world. Only when you become a visible expert, which is only the top 10%, and Ankit is one of them, he's a super visible expert, you become known to the world. And when the world sees you, they will appreciate you, acknowledge you, and they will elevate you. They'll recognize you. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5 is mindset. Ankit operates with what I call an abundance mindset. He believes that the world is full of opportunities. Even when he talks about the opportunities in Deloitte, and when he talks about the openings that Deloitte has, it just oozes out of his mind. He believes that the world is full of abundance. When you believe that the world is full of abundance, you're going to seek opportunities. But when you believe that the world is scarce, when the opportunities are scarce, there is a scarcity, you operate with what I call a scarcity mindset. So you have to work on these 5 areas in order to build an iconic career like the one that Ankit has built: career clarity, skills, career plan, personal brand, and mindset. So that's how I would like to summarize this session here. Ankit, again, a wonderful time, learned so much, and I'm sure the audience who will listen to this will benefit immensely from this interview. So thanks once again. And do you have any one, if there would be one parting thought for the audience, what would that be in one sentence?
I'm pretty impressed, Sushant, the way you have summarized it, right? I mean, I know these themes are in your book as well, but very well summarized. Thank you for having me here. And my only advice is to the larger ecosystem, especially in the last 2 years, whatever we have seen. There's in I'm a very passionate Indian, and India has immense opportunities to grow. Think about what difference you can make in the ecosystem where we live, and think about what we could do in the next 20 years to hyperscale the growth in India using AI, digital, other technologies, because technology is going to be the driver in the way we live, think, feel, and breathe. I mean, already embedded in every home today, right? Or I mean, including grandparents. I'm pretty impressed the way they are using technology compared to any part of the world. We are much more superior. think about how we can hyperscale the growth in India, and happy to have any conversations on that point.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So the audience who's listening here, who's watching this podcast, please connect with Ankit on LinkedIn, connect or follow him. And you should be able to learn a lot more from him in the coming days or in the future. So thank you, everybody. And Ankit, on behalf of my audience and my show, a big thank you to you for your presence here. Have a good day.
Thanks, Sushant. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah.